I'm so excited to see you in person in your new home, basically. Literally in your new home. We are sitting in Ryan's room on his bed. We followed each other for years now. And I've been wanting to talk to you about Songs for Alexis, the documentary. How did it all come about?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. So in 2012, I think, right after my top surgery, a month after, I was approached by one of my camp counselors who said, "Hey, these people are making a movie about trans guys, and you should probably submit your stuff to it." So I was like, "Oh, all right, cool, I will." So I submitted, and the reason that guy knew about this independent film was because he worked in a diner where the scout went. So this guy Chwiz went to the diner and told this other guy about it. So it was like a ladder of people.
Oh, wow.
And the director is Elvira, and she originally wanted to make a movie about trans guys that were vlogging their lives on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's something that I actively did around that time, and that's why I was connected with her. But the movie ended up not being about that at all, which I hope someone makes a movie about that one day because it seems cool. Maybe Elvira will. And with everything that was going on with my ex-girlfriend at the time and me, it was like, wow, this is like pretty dramatic. So Elvira, wanted to eat all that up and put it on film. It just turned into a young love story that happened to have a trans character.
Yeah.
So that's what's so important about it, is that it is like it's not really a trans film, but it has a trans character. It doesn't focus on my transition. And that's what is good about it, because transgender people are so much more than just being trans. That's only one part of our story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of the story, and of course we want everybody to go see it, but part of the story is the fact that things were kind of falling apart in terms of your relationship. Is there any of that you would care to share with people at this point, going into the film, that might be helpful?
Yeah. The reason that all the turmoil was caused was because Alexis's parents were just transphobic, really. They didn't want me dating her simply because I'm trans. And that's like the way it is with a lot of parents. And that really sucks, because if you're in love with someone, you're in love with them. It doesn't matter what they are,
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that. It's just like some kind of soul connection. And I think that's what parents should really care for. Like, if your kid is happy and doing the right thing, then just let them be, Who cares who they're dating? Like, as long as it's like, like age appropriate and all that, if you're a minor, but,
Yeah, as long as that person is good for them. And your parents have been very supportive of you all the way through, which is not always the story. But what specifically has stuck in your mind, like the type of support? Are there moments that you're like, you know what, Mom, you said the right thing, or Dad, you said the right thing?
Yeah, I think actually when I played Milwaukee Pride Fest, like, what was that, 3 or 4 years ago now?
Yeah.
It's a while ago. This was during a really hard time with my dad, where he wasn't really understanding my transition, and for a while he wasn't even calling me Ryan or calling me any name at all, and it was really like awkward at home. I didn't even want to be there anymore. And he came to Pride Fest Milwaukee, and he came and he saw my band, and he had a sign that said, "My son is playing on this stage." And yeah, Robin told me about that, one of my friends. And that, when I heard that, I was like, wow, it wasn't like that he was trying to get me to see it or anything, but it was like, oh, he's supporting because, he's not trying to like do something to make me think he's supporting.
Right.
With my mom, when she came around, I was away at summer camp, and the Larry King show just aired the night before. And she told me that day, "I'm ready to call you Ryan." And that was like her saying, "I'm ready to accept you as my son." And that was like, oh, thank God, like a weight was lifted off of my chest, that I had that little bit of support that I didn't previously have.
Okay, so it was a process then. It wasn't like sunshine.
They weren't always. Yeah.
and since that time when I first met you in Milwaukee, you've moved now out to San Francisco. And what prompted that move?
Yeah, well, mostly Jack Kerouac did. I read On the Road, and I read that in 9th grade, and then I read like every beat novel. And I just got so obsessed, and I was like, something is going on in San Francisco, and I need to be there. And I was like, if it was going on like this hardcore back then, something is still going on. Yeah. And I just kept hearing about San Francisco, and I was like, I need to go there. I need to go there. And then I ended up coming out here for summer camp, and I just, what happened was my camp that was in New York had a branch in San Francisco, and I was like, please, can I go to my parents? And they're like, fine, okay, whatever. And I went, and that's where I met Alexis. So it all just like happened like that, but I just fell in love with this city. But there's some cool stuff going on in this city, and it's still happening. The poets are amazing. I play piano behind some of the poets. Oh, you do? Yeah, it's like I love doing it. It's like it's so much fun. I just like nerd out over it. It's like one of my top things to do.
Again, let's go back to Songs for Alexis, and music-wise, because the album with the same title as the documentary was also part of that process, and you've done some new music recently too. So tell me about both.
Yeah, the majority of the songs that came from Songs for Alexis that make up the soundtrack, I wrote during the process of filming it. The music tells the story of the film without watching the film, which is cool. Yeah, my music now, I just went into the studio and recorded a full band album that we're going to release on vinyl in early 2015, I hope. And me and Kenny went in and we recorded it, and we just changed a lot of stuff around. Like, the songs are all the same type of writing, except it's a little bit more mature, and we added a lot of electric guitars. So I've been practicing like crazy my electric guitars and like lead guitar, and I went in and I recorded on electric guitar, and it sounds really cool. It's a little bit more grungy. It's a little bit more rock. So yeah, I like the direction it's going.
True. And your music always has a strong message. So is that part echoed in this new project too? And you went back east for that. You didn't record out here in San Francisco, correct?
Yeah, I went and I recorded at the Music Palace in New York. And yeah, a lot of the songs still have the same message. Some of them, they're just more about just like living your life to the fullest is the main message of the album. There's also a song for suicide awareness that I hope, I could get that out there and maybe help some people. So, yeah.
Oh, that's really good. And that's a good segue into another aspect of your life, because there's so many facets to you, Ryan. But another piece of what you do is a lot of activism and going and speaking to different groups and schools and organizations. And so tell me a little bit about that and what specifically you do when you're asked this, like, what do they ask you to talk about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I go to high schools and colleges around the United States, hopefully outside one day. And I go and I talk to the students about how they can create a positive change within their school and within their community. So it doesn't really focus on being trans, because most people aren't trans. So I want to let every kid know that they can make a change. It doesn't matter how shy you are or how short you are or any of that stuff, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, you have the ability to make a positive change because it's been done so many times before. And, you know, sometimes you don't even realize that you're making a change, but you are. And I also go in and I educate about the transgender community. I explain what it means to be transgender, in what that means to me and everything. And I talk a lot about anti-bullying because that is the #1 problem in schools right now, is how severely and how much kids are getting bullied. And that just like the suicides that are happening because kids are getting bullied, just it rips me apart, you know. So I know that I have to do something about it, and I don't care if I'm sacrificing myself to do that. You know, I want these kids to just be able to be free, to be who they are.
Yeah. And one thing, going back to Songs for Alexis, that premiered at the Toronto Hot Docs, and that's huge. So what is your hope for that documentary going forward?
Yeah, well, yeah, when we premiered at Hot Docs, it was amazing because we sold out on opening night, and then the last night, closing night, we sold out, and then we went Rush, and that was like, oh my God, like going Rush is like a big thing in the film world.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so when you go Rush, the theater releases some more tickets. So they were going to release maybe like 10 tickets. So everyone stands in a line and wraps around the theater and hopes that they're going to get one of those tickets, that someone's not going to show up so that they could get in. And they wait outside, like people wait for the iPhone or something, you know? So it was like really cool. And I had like 10 tickets in my pocket, and I was like, I'm just going to go hand these out to random people.
Oh, wow.
And I did that. So that was cool. So Hot Docs was really awesome. And yeah, I want like every festival to be as big as that, and to just be like, to have as many people as possible see it and enjoy it and get the music out there and everything, and get the story out there, and just show people like this is, you know, a life of someone who's trans, but, you know, being trans doesn't control my life. And yeah, I just hope to be able to travel with it.
Okay. I look forward to hearing what's next, supporting what's next. I'm obviously wearing my shirt in support today, so we'll have to make sure we take a selfie or something before this is all done. And I think we're going to, you know, before this is all wraps up, we might take a quick little sneak peek at some of the music you've been doing, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm here in Ryan's car, and what are we listening to now?
It's the new record, Unmixed.
What's this track that I'm listening to?
This is Psychedelic Alligator Hunter.
Psychedelic Alligator Hunter. Yeah. And what is this song about?
Oh, the song is just about really digging a girl, you know, just, it's like the song trying to woo her in.
Ah, I feel wooed, people. You're gonna feel wooed too, so make sure that you be on the lookout in early 2015, and I'm sure you'll be touring a ton once that comes out as well. All right, well, thanks a lot for the sneak peek, and it was great talking to you.
All right.